is a special quick late evening edition of Pucks and Dreams on Hockey Nation Live. Everyone's probably sleeping. However, I got in kind of late, and I wanted to comment on the Nick Leddy trade. If you didn't catch this, the Detroit Red Wings have parlayed further the assets that came from the Anthony Mantha trade earlier this year. So we know originally that trade, Detroit clearly won. They got Jakub Vrana, who already seems like he's a better fit in Detroit and maybe a better player than Anthony Mantha. They also got veteran Richard Panik, which was essentially they picked up Panik's salary to make the deal work for Washington. I like Panik. Like, he's not going to score. He's kind of like the Menstikov, where he's not going to score a lot of points anymore, but he's, you can trust him. He's going to be a good kind of third line guy that you can rely upon, and he's a glue guy. And they got a first and a second round pick. Well, now they flip Richard Panik to the New York Islanders. The Islanders going into the NHL Expansion draft. We were kind of talking about this today when we previewed the upcoming Seattle Kraken Expansion draft. The Islanders presumably would protect Ryan Pulock, Scott Mayfield, and Adam Pelech before they protect Nick Leddy, and they seem definitely they have to protect 7 forwards. So for them to then expose Leddy and lose him for nothing, or they could trade with Stevie Yzerman, which is what Lou Lamoreillo opted. So they trades basically for Richard Panik and a second round pick, or the other way around. Like, Stevie Yzerman takes the second pick, and Richard Panik flips them to New York Islanders now and gets arguably who might be the second or third best defenseman now in Detroit. These are the types of moves that really give you a little bit of hope that Detroit's going to keep getting a little bit better, and give time for these young guys to develop, like Lucas Raymond and whoever they pick in the upcoming draft. We already see Jonathan Berggren looking really sharp, and then Niederbach looks real good. So I think these guys just need time. But on this trade specifically, like Nick Leddy, he's not perfect defensively. Great skater, can really move the puck. Sometimes overconfident with it though, and does turn it over a little bit. And sometimes has a little trouble one-on-one, like with lateral skating, and just defending. But overall, if you look at Detroit's defense, you got to say, like, okay, he's arguably, he might be the second or third best defenseman now in Detroit. So it's a great move by Stevie Yzerman. I think it's a smart move by Lou Lamoreillo. Lou Lamoreillo gets a second pick no matter what. It's very unlikely that Richard Panik, A, gets protected by the Islanders, but B, even though he's exposed, I cannot see Seattle picking him up. So now he's got 2 assets that'll remain on the books. He'll have to figure out, once again, he has to move a defenseman, which is kind of interesting. You start realizing how deep that Islanders team really is and why they probably have so much success. Like, last year they had to move Devin Taves for, not really a lot. Like, I thought the price on Devin Taves was a second pick. So now they're kind of getting that second pick back, and they get Panik, but they give up Leddy. So it's kind of, unfortunate for them. They're going to have to still, figure out another defenseman here. But if you look at Detroit today, you got to say these guys are better. Because on D, I think Leddy is a left shot too, right? Let's just double check. I'm pretty sure he's a left shot defenseman, but let's just make sure. Yeah, Nick Leddy, they're showing he's a left shot defenseman. So that's perfect for Detroit, who shockingly have a lot of right shot defensemen. So on the right side in Detroit this year, you would think, if you start looking at that lineup, and I won't spend a lot of time because I think nobody's awake, but if you start looking at Detroit's line combinations on D particularly, you've got Roenick is kind of anchored this right side, Stetcher, Lindstrom. You've got to presume that Seider is going to be probably, I'm thinking, second line here. Hopefully they bring back Mark Stahl, but if they don't, if Cholowski looked like he kind of improved significantly last year, and if they don't bring back Mark Stahl, which maybe this means they won't, but I would like to see Mark Stahl come back. But they definitely now have Nick Leddy on that left side. So I don't know. This seems like a good move. I would like to see them re-sign Stahl. I thought he played very well for them. He was a great pairing with Stetcher. I do feel encouraged by what I saw from Cholowski last year, but prior to this, he was always a challenge. De Kaiser is not, my favorite D, but so if you had a situation where you had Cholowski, Leddy, and Stahl on the left side, that might be pretty good. Although Cholowski and Leddy might be similar in that, there's a little bit of propensity to have struggle on one-on-one sometimes and maybe turn over the puck offensively. But hopefully, either way, I think that would improve the team. And then, I don't know, Richard Panik, I thought played pretty well for the team, but in the end, he was probably going to be a third liner for them next year. So then if you look at the Islanders, how does this affect the Islanders? They're definitely a little weaker today, but they would have been weaker with the expansion draft. So now they get a guy on the right side, probably replaces Travis Zajac on the third line. That would be my thought. And Panik, I think, can play both wings. And but they lose arguably their number 3 defenseman, kind of number 4, probably number 4 to them. But so now you think Noah Dobson, right shot defenseman, they got to figure out something on the left side. I'm trying to think of who their prospects are, but we'll have to check that out. Let's see. Look on Cap Friendly. What do they have coming up D wise? Morgan Geekie signed a $750,000 contract. That's interesting. So if you look at the Islanders, they take on, I think Panik's contract is 2.5. They'll have, I think, was it $4 million? Let's take a look. These guys already updated it. Wow, that was quick, guys. Good job. So, 5.5. Geez. Okay, so Leddy's got 1 year, $5.5 million. Then he's UFA. So that'll be interesting. Like I said, I would like to see them bring back Mark Stahl. I thought Stetcher was pretty good. De Kaiser, I'm not a big fan of. They got to sign Roenick. They got to sign Lindstrom. He's pretty reliable. Cholowski, I'm hoping, is broken through. No matter what, you got to think it's a short-term contract, which kind of plays into Stevie Yzerman's Yzer plan. And yet, at the same time, they probably legitimately get a guy that can play ahead of everyone else on the left side right now. So good move by Stevie Yzerman. I like it. They take on $5.5 million in contract, and I think the Islanders take on 2.5? Yeah, it's interesting. I don't see the contract for Panik. Why is that? Interesting. Did they not move it over? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Richard Panik's contract, unless they're buying him out or something. Did you hear anything about that? Let's look. Let's double check. Yeah. Panik. Yeah, I mean, obviously the centerpiece to all of this is Nick Leddy. The pick the Islanders received was required by the Red Wings from the Edmonton Oilers. Oh, okay, so they took the Edmonton Oilers pick that they got in the Athanasiou trade, which didn't really work out for Edmonton. Not sure Kenny should be allowed to trade. Panik scored 13 points in 48 games with the Red Wings and Washington Capitals. The 30-year-old had 4 points in 12 games after he's traded the Wings. So he's not going to be the Richard Panik of old. He'll get you some consistent points, but he's not going to be an absolute offensive stud. So we kind of know that. That's fine. Yeah, interesting. All right. So what do you think of this deal? Do you like it? Are you concerned about it? I think it's a great one for the Red Wings, and I think it's probably a shrewd move by Lou Lamoreillo to pick up a draft pick and probably a useful piece for next year. But he's got to figure out another defenseman, which I'm sure he'll do. There'll be defensemen out there that can pick up. All right. Well, I'm going to pack it in. This is a quick little episode because I was kind of excited to see another piece to the Yzer plan come into place. What do you think about this deal? Are you as excited about it? And who do you think won? I think they both won, to be honest with you. I think both sides do pretty well with this. But feel free to leave your comments, and we will see you over the weekend. Tomorrow is actually a big day because at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern, the expansion protected lists are released by NHL teams. So we'll know for sure tomorrow who's being protected and who's being exposed in the upcoming NHL expansion draft. So that's a big day. So we'll come on and we'll take a look at who each of the teams protected and who they exposed. And then that kind of solidifies. We've been going through the different teams and kind of guessing and, saying who we would pick if we were Seattle afterwards. But this will become a lot more definitive and clear. So tomorrow is a big day for that. And I'm sure we're going to see more transactions like this. This is probably just the start. All right, have a wonderful evening, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Happy Hockey Nation Live.